Hi there, folks. Welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive of the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and kid who's a superhero.
I wanted to be the fat dog.
Yoki Stairmaster.
I can't do that voice, Swanson. You know I can't do that voice. Fuck you.
I mean, what else are you, an old astronaut? What else you want to be?
I want to be the fat dog.
You're not the fat dog.
Then who is?
I'm the fat dog.
No, you're Swanson. You said you were Swanson.
I'm the fat dog, bitch.
No, you said you were Swanson. Roll the tape back. Hiya, folks. I'm Swanson.
I don't even sound like that.
Okay, roll the tape back again.
I'm Swanson. Oh, fuck. Well, alright. I mean, okay, with me as always is my co-host and fat dog, Stairmaster.
Hey, little Eddie. Let's get some perspective.
This is what you wanted. This is what you were waiting to do?
My throat hurts now.
That's the voice you can actually do? That's the one.
I just felt demeaned being relegated to the kid status.
With us as always, of course, our other co-host and...
Keo, do you want to be the fat dog?
Superhero
no.
Who's got a annoying power, Kyorain.
Hey guys, I'm not even trying to do my voice properly.
Yeah, you're what do you do?
I'm so sorry, everyone.
No, that's like half the characters on this show. That's what they sound like.
Hey guys, my whole thing is I talk loud with an annoying voice.
It's like if they made a cartoon about scratching a chalkboard.
Yeah, I don't know. The show just gives me some really AI-generated vibes. I guess I'm biased because that's just kind of what's on my mind lately, though.
You talking about the one with Ted Danson as the mayor?
Yes.
Yeah. I forget the name of the show, but I think Mayor was in the... Mr. Mayor, maybe?
I think Tom goes to the mayor.
That's right.
Yeah, with this new wave of AI generation that's been going on, I have that on the mind, and definitely this show feels like the kind of show you would get if you, like, told one of those AI bots, like, a few things, like a few concepts, and to just make a show, and set the noise up to the max, and just had it spit out a script, and just, like, and then sent that script over to, like a an outsourcing animation studio and had them just make it. That's what this would be, I think.
Also, that show was called Mr. Mayor, which I briefly thought that could be the title of that show.
How could you not title show that before the 2010s?
It's a great question. No one could thought it was possible. But Keo, what you're suggesting here is that this is actually a glimpse into what our future could look like in the AI-riddled hellscapes of 2020, whatever.
Yeah, no, I think that most AI programs would be more high quality than this. This is just like if you took the first prompt, the very first output for a full script, and just went with that. That's like your entire show. That's all you publish.
Yeah.
You get the impression that this could be a TV show that was produced, but it's just not. It's not quite there yet. It's just not a show.
The sad thing, of course, being that this is a show that was produced in like the late 90s.
2003.
No, it was produced in the late 90s, debuted in 2000. So
why does it look so bad then?
It's a great question, man. It's a terrific question. And so this is couldn't have been generated by AI, even if they wanted it to. And so it was written by real humans.
Well, I'm aware that it was written by real humans, and that's the thing that I'm trying to tell myself isn't the case, but I know it is.
Yeah.
I know that somebody sat down and that they thought that they were making a good show.
But hey, listen, before we get too deep into the fat dog woods, such as they are, let's take a second step back and ask ourselves if there's any questions that someone might have for us. Let's ask ourselves.
Oh.
I think they have questions.
I have questions for this fat dog.
Well, that'll come later. But if someone were to be listening and they had a question, perhaps, what is this fat dog? What does he do? Well, you could stick around and listen, or you could send us an email, and we'll read it aloud on the podcast. That's right. All you got to do is go over to our email address, tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. Send any of your quips, comments, questions, foresights, otherwise. That's really much all you got to do. What's that email, Keo?
televisiontunerspodcast@gmail.org.
That's right. You could be like Geo, who sent us this email. You only tune twice.
Uh-huh.
You all remember in that James Bond when Q was like, "Don't touch that. That's my lunch." Well, what if he was like... I
actually do.
Well, what if he was like, "Don't touch that. That's my dank-ass kush."
Was that from from one of the Brosnan movies, or one of the Timothy what's-his-name movies? Swanson.
Is it from GoldenEye?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like GoldenEye played it very straight-faced.
Well, I mean, he does drive a tank in that movie.
Yeah, but it's like cool.
Yeah.
That he's driving a tank.
It is cool. Well, I mean, it is cool.
Okay, it does have that wacky car race at the start.
Yeah.
It's not...
I don't think it is
So maybe
from
it does
GoldenEye.
have the "That's my lunch" scene.
But so let's answer Geo's question here, though. What if he said, "Don't touch that. That's my dank ass kush"?
Oh, they would not allow him in MI6.
It's true, yeah. Those stodgy Brits.
Yeah, Bond would just kill him on the spot.
They would black bag him.
Yeah. It is from GoldenEye.
Oh. Maybe in, one of the Daniel Craig movies that might happen. Like, No Time to Die. After he's gay, he's also like, "This is my marijuana. I smoke it with my boyfriend."
Yeah, I could see... the new James Bonds, I could see him doing that. This is a new rule for Q. Also, do you think they should change his name now? Or is he grandfathered in?
Oh. Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, I've gotten access to the timeline. I'm able to make changes as I wish to reality now.
I'm just imagining, in the next James Bond, it's like, "This is Q."
James Bond's like, "We've been looking for you."
Yeah, he would tell Bond, HRC will be extradited on April 24th, 2024.
JFK Jr. is becoming president.
Trust the plan.
You don't hear much about Q these days, I feel like. Is that part of the plan?
Mr. Bond, you need to find Donald Trump's crown and bring it to him.
I would watch that movie.
Make sure you use the phrase, "You dropped this."
I mean, that's also M, so maybe it's okay.
True. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess you gotta, what happened to all the other letters?
Well, in one of the movies, he has an assistant, and they joke about him being named R.
But he's not named R, is he?
He's credited in "The World Is Not Enough" as R.
Oh, okay. Good on him. I hope we answered your question, Gio.
We answered his question. If he doesn't like it...
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, if you don't like it, send us another email. Anyway, tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. That's where you go to give us all those great questions that we'll answer. And before we get into
and no one can say we didn't.
It's true. No one can. I mean, they can say it, I guess. We'll put our fingers in our ears and be like, "Nuh-uh."
What if we got an AI? What if we just fed the question to an AI and read its answer out loud? Generate a transcript of the TV Tuners hosts responding to a question from Geo.
And what if we just had an AI generate an entire episode of the podcast?
And then we use the deep fakes to synthesize our voices.
Yeah.
Just copy and pasting the script.
Yeah. And also one of us will just be Joe Biden.
Talking about who's number one in the rap game.
Yeah. Don't touch that. That's my dank-ass kush. But, listen, emails are all fine and well, but I have a deep, important question that we must answer right now. What'd you guys watch? Anything interesting, fun? Something you want to talk about?
I watched Pat Labor, The Mobile Police, the movie, 1989, directed by Mamoru Oshii.
How's Pat doing?
He's great.
Oh, good.
They got their guy. Unfortunately, he killed himself in the first minute of the film, so they couldn't actually punish him for any of his crimes.
But they did get him, I guess, technically speaking.
Yeah. They reduced the property damage to only one megastructure.
Oh, that's what you want then. So in this scenario, this is like if Gundam were cops?
Yes.
Instead of military?
If you're a simpleton. Yes.
Okay, what is it in non-simpleton
No,
terms?
I don't know. They're kind of too...
looking...
They're like...
Yeah.
If Gundam was about working class stiffs.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. What's a cop show where they're all kind of a wild bunch? Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of wild in that show.
But also they got a supervisor who's always like a few steps ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty much the show of Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah. And one guy who loves to shoot the giant robot revolver.
Yeah, that's pretty much the show. I mean, this sounds
okay,
like...
yeah, it's Brooklyn 999.
Okay.
And then in Pat Labor 2, it becomes this political thriller about a guy who's mad that his entire unit got wiped out in a peacekeeping operation, so he's trying to bring war home to Tokyo.
Oh, the war comes home.
Yeah. And the cops barely show up, besides the two commander characters.
No cops, okay.
Oh, well, they show up at the end.
Oh, okay.
And then in the third movie, they get like 3 minutes of screen time. It's about two unrelated detectives investigating this plane crash that was caused by a giant monster made by bioengineering.
Are there robot fights?
There's one fight at the end.
Okay. They make you wait for that robot fight.
Yes. It's mostly about two guys just, vibing out in this.
Know how it is.
And
Two
it's
guys.
raining and shit, and they're pontificating and solving a mystery.
You ever pontificate in the rain?
Yeah. So that's the Pat Labor trilogy. 9 out of 10. Did I mention that the first two Pat Labor films are directed by the Ghost in the Shell guy?
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice.
and the second film has like a 5-minute long sequence where none of the main characters show up, and it's just about the Japanese Air Force trying to intercept this phantom radar signature. And you get in all the play-by-play.
Yeah, it sounds pretty dope.
Also, I watched Andor. I watched most of it.
Nice.
I love that robot. He's just like me.
That little robot, that depressed robot.
He's kind of scared, I would
I
would
think
say.
more scared than anything.
Scared and sickly.
Yes. Most of it. How define most of it?
I got to the part where he got arrested.
Oh, okay. So
that is kind of a funny bit.
Him getting arrested's a funny bit.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it's funny and also just like infuriating to watch. But yeah,
so
it's
when
funny.
the show aired, was there like people being mad about the synthesizers in the soundtrack?
No, from what I remember, the criticism, at least of the first 3 episodes, were that it was like slow.
Oh yeah.
And that like they were like, is this what the show's gonna be? And then they weren't ready for it to be like different each arc.
To have the call to adventure happen.
Yeah. Also, there was a lot of like, this show isn't really about Andor, is it? Going on.
Oh, fuck off. How the fuck is it not about Andor? He's like involved in all the events.
Yeah, I guess because you get all these
player.
scenes with Stellan Skarsgård and with Mon Mothma, but like they're all connected to his show.
Yes. They should have Werner Herzog show up and be like, "Where is Andor?
I am looking for the Andor.
Yeah, whatever Swanson's talking about right here is completely irrelevant. I don't think I need to listen to what he has to say about this.
Wait,
Tell
when
us where
is
he
Andor
is.
coming back?
Yeah, it should just be the little robot being like, "Where is Andor?"
That poor sad guy. I hope he lives.
I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, man. But
You're spoiling something by saying that prefix alone.
the robot is the robot gets sadder.
Oh.
Dog.
Well, I've used my deductive reasoning to figure out sort of what's going to happen. Thanks, Swanson.
You'll see.
It's fairly telegraphed, though.
Yeah, I mean the show isn't completely predictable, but it's also not being unpredictable in ways that.
Yeah.
What do you think about that Karn guy? little Nazi scumbag.
I like how all the corpo cops are just complete losers and slubs.
This dude lives with his mom.
Yeah, he's sort of like a tall Ben Shapiro sort of loser compared to
Keo, the main
Irish
antagonist
cop.
for Andor is a guy who. Keo, the main antagonist for Andor, is a guy who's sent to live with his mother after he fails to capture him the first time.
Yeah, because Andor
I
lives
disagree.
like in the outskirts of the Empire where they just have mall cops
Yeah, and before he's
with
sent to live with
guns.
his mom, he is just a mall cop.
with a gun. And they try to LARP as a SWAT team and get owned.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone dies but him and like one other dude.
Yeah. It's so greatest of all time. The only way it could be better is if like Amuro Ray was there and they were piloting like Nemos.
Yeah. That'd be
Or
dope
Jim
if
Hughes.
Amuro was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, glad you liked it.
Yeah. I think that's everything I saw. That's worth talking about at least.
I watched a film from the year of our Lord 2022 titled The Banshees of Inisherin.
Of where?
Inisherin, it's an island in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little Irish tale about two guys who aren't friends anymore, and it's also sort of a parallel to the Civil War.
Are they banshees?
No,
Are they the banshees?
Are
there women?
The title of the movie comes from the song that one of the friends is writing.
Okay.
Colin Farrell plays the main friend who goes to the bar every night with his buddy and goes to see how he's doing when he doesn't show up one night, and he learns that he doesn't want to be friends with him anymore.
Oh.
And it's never completely clear why he decided to quickly take off the friendship, but it's a mixture of depression, loneliness, and coming to the end of his life and realizing he's done nothing. That causes him to sort of push his friend away and focus on other things in his life.
Oh, that's gonna be me soon.
But it's basically a little tale of what happens when two guys are on a mostly desolate island, along with a couple other people, and
So it's
just
like
trying
the
to live their
lighthouse,
life.
but without the gay. It's like the lighthouse. But
It's like
without
the lighthouse
gay
if
sex.
it was a community,
Oh.
and also like the war is going on in the distance, and you can hear it. But yeah, it's good. It's a good movie. It's despite what it might sound like, it's actually very funny.
Like black comedy or
Yeah, pitch
white
black.
Oh, okay.
It's very black. Like there's a joke involving one of the friends cutting off their fingers and throwing them at the door of the other friend.
Oh,
you don't
not
see,
because
you don't
failed
see
his...
the act of him cutting off the fingers, but you do see the fingers.
You just hear thump.
Yes, actually.
Blimey, what the...
Like Colin Farrell is sitting there in his house eating his like supper with his sister, and you just hear boom, and he walks outside and there's blood dripping from the door, and he sees a finger on the floor.
What an amazing own.
It's pretty funny. And it's just continuously hilarious, and then there'll just be moments where like they're arguing with each other, and it becomes very intense and dramatic.
Yeah.
And heartrending. It's good. I would give it a full tune in. Also, there's a nice dog. There's a nice little sheepdog.
And the dog is not a perfectly spherical orb.
Yes, this is not a fat dog. This is a regular dog. Normal sized dog. I also watched Nope, which might be the movie with the most...
Very prescient film.
True.
I am, of course, talking about the sun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
we can't look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really talk about it.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with any sort of...
recent events.
Yes. That involve clouds that might be killing people.
Oh, I meant the unidentified flying objects.
Oh, yeah. I guess it's a prescient
film in
shot
down. And then apparently could not find. Apparently.
It's hard to find things that fall down,
It's true. I fell down the other day and no one could see me.
One time I threw a frisbee off into the neighbor's yard.
That is so you.
And it was gone
I was
forever.
like, where is it? Yeah, I was climbing over the fence and looking around the bushes, and then my neighbor was there, and he was like, "Get out of my yard, boy."
And you did.
Oh dear.
You listened
I hope
to
you
him.
did.
Well, I said, "Hey, I'm looking for my frisbee."
It ain't no frisbee anymore.
It's the Lions frisbee, boy.
It was gone. I could not find it.
Yeah.
I had to get on out of there.
But Nope, that's a good movie right there. That's a yep. Yeah, it's another Jordan Peele movie where although I feel like the themes that he's going for in this are a lot more subtle than his previous two films. Mainly it's a movie about how we all want to see a big spectacle on our screens, but also that spectacle involves the exploitation of something. In this case, animals.
Nowadays, it's computer modelist.
And there's a harrowing scene involving a monkey. A chimp, really, but it's a harrowing scene.
It's like the pat labor of Jordan.
In
I was
a
about
way.
to say Peterson.
Jordan
Peterson
Peele
Peele.
movies. Yeah, that's right. They're the same guy, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's a good movie all around. I would say tune in on that.
So, Keo, did you watch anything?
Yeah, I watched Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay.
Okay. Speak.
Whoa, what's he doing today?
He's not happy when the kitchen's not clean.
Well, what?
He didn't like that.
Which kitchen is it? Is it
I don't know.
Did he go to different kitchens?
He goes to a different kitchen every episode, and he tries to solve the problem.
What kitchen was this?
I don't know. There was this kitchen where they just had rotten food everywhere, and everything was disgusting.
What kind of kitchen does that?
A very dysfunctional one.
Did he get them to clean their act up?
Yes, he did.
It's fucking raw. Is that what he said?
He rarely says that.
That's a shame.
Usually he says, "That's ghastly."
I mean, that's also pretty good. Goodness. I'm gonna barf.
Rubbery, tasteless. That's disgusting.
Is that a tune in?
Did you have fun?
Made me think about how I need to clean my kitchen.
Is that a good
tune out?
That's an important message.
It's true. That's actually something that people should know more about, is how to clean their kitchen and when they should.
Well, I would not be against Gordon Ramsay just coming into my house and just telling me what to do.
I mean, do you want him yelling at you?
Oh yeah, I want him to shout at me, and I want a camera crew in there filming everything, and I want to do little talking head sections where I explain my thought process.
You're I didn't think I needed to clean the sink.
Ooh. Classic blunder.
It's Gordon's completely right, but I don't want to.
That's what they should say, yeah.
Yeah, and I really want him to critique like a meal I made for myself.
For just you.
Yeah, it's like my personal dinner that I've made, and he like sits down with it and starts like poking around with his fork and just like, ugh, what is this?
You plan on eating this?
The sauce is too much sauce.
All right, we'll tune in on that, I guess.
No, it's a tune out. It's very upsetting.
Okay, fair.
Don't watch it. On second thought.
And don't buy us a coffee to make us watch an episode.
I mean, please don't. Just for, like... Just cause, you know.
Like it's going to be, like, kind of a very dry recap. We'll say, like, there was a kitchen that wasn't making a lot of money. Gordon came in. He did not like the decor. He did not like the food.
They kept serving food with centipedes in them.
And Gordon kept saying, again with the fucking centipedes.
Yeah, he would definitely he would sit them down and be like, I talked to you about this and we agreed there was not going to be any more centipedes. He said, but the customers started asking for centipedes, so I put them back in.
The customers started asking. Hey, where'd the centipedes go?
Or it's like we had a leftover can of centipedes and
Oh, use them. We don't want them to go to waste.
That would have to be a very large can, I think.
Listen, they're about to start canning their centipedes over in the UK, so...
Oh. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
The economy's not great.
Oh. Because of breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have too much.
Well, no,
they have
a
too
lot
much
of
breakfast.
Haven't you read New York Times, Keo? Skipping breakfast is a new frugal.
Oh, like it's
lifestyle.
now 2 meals a
Yes.
2 meals a
Yeah.
day to save money
You
on
skip,
on
you
meals.
skip breakfast and you support J.K. Rowling.
Well,
And read their
I have a
sections.
frugal breakfast. Okay, you guys ready for Keo's cooking corner? Because I've learned a lot from Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, okay.
Watching
Can we get
an episode
a little
of
theme
his
song
program.
for it real quick?
Yeah, stare. Let's get that theme song going here.
The dog.
Perfect. All right, it's Keo's cooking
okay.
corner.
So
How
if
we
you want to
spell
save a
that?
little bit of money, with
Keo's. There's like some angry Maoist guy on Twitter who's like cooking corner with 3 Ks, all capitalized.
yeah, I spell it KCC, but I'm sure like some people out there, in our audience, who they are going to abbreviate it differently.
Yeah, and we're saying it's okay to do that.
Yeah, well, that's fine.
Okay.
They're listeners. The listener's always right. I don't want them upset with me. I don't want them coming to my house anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want them coming in the house and telling me how to cook my food, how to clean my kitchen.
Yeah, waving their flags with their version of the correct spelling of the show.
Yeah, so I've got a frugal breakfast for those of you guys who really need to save some money.
Mm-hmm.
The ingredients you're going to have are yogurt. Just get a big thing of just regular old yogurt.
Okay.
Granola. And blueberries. So here's the recipe for your new breakfast. So it's going to be 1 tablespoon of yogurt.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
1 teaspoon of granola. And 1 teaspoon of blueberries. You're going to mix those together.
How much is
and
1
there you go.
teaspoon of blueberries? Is that like a blueberry?
You could probably fit like 4 or 5 or 6 blueberries on 1 teaspoon.
Depending on the size of the blueberries, I take it.
Yeah, and how good you are at balancing the blueberries in the spoon.
No, the sad part is the British people will eat this up.
Yeah, they'll love it.
Again, that's your breakfast. That'll give you the energy you need to get through most of your day.
And how long was a day,
Right.
Keo?
24 to 36 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks. That's how long my days are.
Yeah, you come home, you're like, I had a long day today. And they're like, oh, how many hours? It was like 30 hours.
Yeah. Well, that was
Saying,
Kio's
and
cooking
how was
corner.
how was the boss treating you? Oh, not so good.
Yeah.
He made me work for 16 hours straight. No breaks.
No breaks. I didn't get lunch. But I had breakfast.
Like, you had lunch, but it was a frugal lunch. You know what that's all about.
Yeah, it was.
So here's my frugal lunch recipe.
Okay, good.
You guys ever hear of kale before? That's a superfood.
Yeah, what makes it super?
You got
It's green.
it's packed full. It's packed full. It's green. It's packed full of like juice or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Some
So
sort of
you get-
juice.
So here's the ingredients for my frugal lunch recipe. So you get 1 kale leaf,
A single kale leaf, okay?
1 tablespoon of pepper,
Sounds good so far.
1 tablespoon of garlic powder,
Ooh, spicy.
tablespoon of salt,
Okay.
A classic.
tablespoon of garlic powder.
So wait,
Uh,
is it 2 tablespoons of garlic powder?
Yes.
But it has to go in that order.
Yeah, so you're gonna put these ingredients on the kale leaf in that order, and yeah, that's it. You're gonna go and eat that for lunch.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That sounds filling.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give away my dinner recipe. That's gonna be the Patreon special.
Oh right, yeah.
If you subscribe to my Patreon page for $20 a month, you can get the weekly frugal dinner recipes.
And those are really good. Yeah, I just had mine the other day. I'm not going to tell you what it was, but let's just say.
Oh, you know what? Since it's you had it and you want to give a testimony, you can go ahead and share like what it was.
Yeah, I had a half pounder, I call it, which is not that it's a whole like half of a pound. It's a quarter pounder cut in half and then cut in half again.
You know, if you do that, if I'm doing my math correctly, you're going to get 8 meals out of that.
That's right. And that's the other thing. These are frugal because they're saving you not just time and money, but it's meal prep.
Yeah. So some people don't know about this, but you can double your food. So, okay, you ever heard of a pounder?
Uh-huh.
Quarter that.
Well, I've
All
heard
right,
of
so that. Oh, go ahead, sir.
I've heard of a quarter pounder.
Okay, well, see, a quarter pound. Okay, listen. Here's the real magic of this. If you get a pounder, okay, you cut that in half. What do you have now?
An eighth?
No, a quarter pounder you cut in half, you get an eighth, which is that's also getting double your meals. But if you cut a pounder in half,
You get a half pounder.
you get a half pounder. So that's you had 1 meal, and now you have 2 meals, and it's 2 half pounders.
Yeah, it's real, and it's a complicated procedure, which is why you have to subscribe to get like the full understanding of it all.
Yeah, you need to get the right equipment for that. I'm not going to give away too much, but some people you just use I have a knife, right? Like, oh yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
like
like
good-
everyone else.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Good luck, right? Just you can try it. You can try it. You can take okay.
Yeah,
I don't want to make fun of people.
This isn't for everyone.
This is a positive space. This is a safe space
And
for
what's that
people who
Patreon
don't know how to cook. It's patreon.com/KKK.
Oh, good. Yeah, I thought so. I just want people need to know. Oh well, that's Kio's Cooking Corner, KCC, and yeah, I think we can wait no longer, guys. It's time to talk about the Fat Dog.
Who?
Our latest Buy Me a Coffee episode was for this
For my friend.
little heard of animated show, originally premiering on Cartoon Network UK in February of 2000. Fat Dog
And
Mendoza follows a big dog who gets into some antics, I guess. That's actually a great question right now, which is, we watched 2 episodes of this show. What would you say is the premise?
I would not say the dog is getting into antics. It seems like the kid is getting into antics, which is not what you want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid is a hero, but also he just kind of wants to like mess around and accomplish nothing.
Yeah. True. Like, is there a defined premise that you would think, like, yes, this is what I would tell people the show's about?
There's an annoying kid and a dog who's the voice of reason. And he's also shaped, he's kind of eldritch looking.
No, he's not the voice of reason, Stare. He's absolutely not the voice of reason.
Okay, but he's kind of like the straight man.
He's the straight man, but he also is spontaneous and epic random.
True. I mean, this first episode is them going to the moon off of the fat dog's recommendation.
Yeah, he gives sage advice and gives like pointers and is like the adult in the room, but at the same time he's just like, hey, let's just go break reality real quick.
And he
looks like a Langolier.
But let's not break reality in a way that's entertaining. Let's break reality in a way that's slow and frustrating.
Let's break reality in a way that is annoying. It doesn't really make sense.
It involves a lot of characters that you don't want to hear from or see or experience in any way.
So let's talk about the best thing about the show right off the bat, which is that the intro to the show, which is, I mean, it's an accurate representation of what the show is, I guess, in the sense that it's a fever dream. Because
this is one of the most fever dreamish shows. Yeah, But the problem with the fever dream imagery of the show is that they don't go all the way with it. They just kind of, okay, this is like kind of a trippy show.
Odd.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't make sense, but it's not enough to be like, wow, this is like an experience to watch.
The theme song of the show is, so we see the planet Earth, and then Fat Dog bites into it.
And tar oozes out of it.
Yeah.
And it just turns him back into the place he lives. But in the entire time...
And then they're riding a motorcycle. And then they're at the Chicken Itza.
Yeah, they're going all through different locations doing things, but not really. So,
I guess the premise of this show is just that reality is not intact. And Fat Dog is fine with this, and he presides over it.
Yeah. A lot of the thing that is interesting about the intro to the show is that it just shows you people who either don't appear in the 2 episodes we watched and may never appear, or do appear and still don't make sense in context. It just shows you these people out of context.
Which is sort of like most TV cartoon intros for a lot of people with a lot of cast.
I guess, but
no?
Who the fuck is this monkey writing a typewriter and shit? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of shows that do that, but I would say that most of them are ones that are like narrative driven.
Yeah,
ones that like show off the cast of characters doing
Also, I feel like most cartoon shows do not have this many characters. At least not this many that you just throw in the intro.
Yeah, and the biggest problem with these characters is that there's no there's no line between them. They're just kind of these random characters kind of tossed in there.
For instance, why does this fat dog hang out with a kid in a superhero costume?
Yeah, there's really just no rhyme or reason for really much of anything, and they have no interest in us understanding it. It's just
did the girl really need to be there for the episode to work?
No.
No.
She doesn't do anything integral other than continuously tell the superhero kid to get the ladder.
Yeah, she yells a lot.
Yes.
She should have just got the ladder herself.
Yeah. Women's lib. Do it yourself. But yeah, what the main reason the theme song or the intro is the best is because of the theme song, which is just guitar strumming and a guy going "Fat Dog."
Yeah, but if you look at it, then you see the dog and you're very deeply unsettled.
Yeah, true.
Because the dog looks like a Langolier. That's this orb with a huge mouth.
Yeah, he's not a dog. Like, if anyone tells you, oh, that's a dog, you know...
They've never seen a dog in their lives.
Yeah, you don't trust that person who's
They're
telling
probably
you
a skinwalker.
Right.
All things considered.
Before we get into...
like, if I met somebody...
Yeah.
If I met somebody and he had like a drawing he had made for me, and he's like...
This is my dog.
I drew a dog. Yeah, I would never talk to that person again.
And also, the animation in this sort of looks like Dilbert 3. The way faces move.
This is an early 2000s show when it came out. I think it was in production in like 98, 99. And it looks... first off, it's in production for Cartoon Network in like Europe. And it looks like something that you would find on like WB at like 6 a.m.
Yeah, if I had to wake up to go to school and I saw this on the TV show, I would just go back to bed.
True. It's sort of like one of those random shows that Adult Swim would play when they needed something to fill the airtime.
Oh, you mean like Oblongs or Baby
but
Blue?
Like worse.
Whatever that one was called.
Yeah, something like Mission Hill.
Yeah. Oh, fuck you. Mission Hill's good.
Oblongs was alright. It's deeply off-putting.
So really there is no comparison for this show. It's abysmal.
Yeah. It's garbage. It's rancid. But before we get into the show, because I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about exactly.
We have gotten into the show, Swanson.
I meant
we're
like
balls
recap.
deep in it.
Before we're recapping, I want to go back and talk about the only interesting thing really regarding this show, which is its origins, how it came about, because, I mean, that's a valid question when you see this. Listen, so this show was created by Scott Musgrove, who originally came up with the character off of a one-off comic book, which is where they came up with the idea for this Fat Dog Mendoza. And now I'm going to show you the cover of this comic, and I want you to prepare yourself, because you're not going to be able to unsee it when it's done.
Oh, he looks like a skinwalker.
Whoa.
What's
going on with his leg?
He's standing on his leg.
It looks like he's putting on a skin suit.
He's showing that he's a skinny guy, and deep down, he's hungry, actually. So this was a one-shot comic book with just one issue. And they saw it, and they were like, yeah, what if we made a whole cartoon show off of it?
And don't include the part where he becomes the Pope.
Yeah, I don't know what the story of this one-shot comic is, but it does involve him becoming the Pope and going to hell, I guess. But this was a Dark Horse comic book, which was the era of when, like, The Mask was big. Because this was, like, 1992 when this came out. And The Mask, of course, if you ever heard about the comic book version, is, like, way more violent than the Jim Carrey.
He's not asking people to stop him.
He's people are trying to stop him, and he's not stopping. But Dark Horse still does have it listed as one of their properties, and this is what it has to say about Fat Dog Mendoza. Are you ready for this, guys?
We are sorry.
Do you like hamburger on a stick?
What?
Do you like your Martians nude?
What?
Do you like arc welding suits? If so, seek help. If not, check out Fat Dog Mendoza. Dark Horse Comics is pleased to present a dog that you can really sink your teeth into. Not since the Terminator has there been a more suave and sophisticated man-doggo action like this one.
What? What does that even... How does...
You'll thrill to the wild adventures of this conversing, corpulent, consort-killing canine as he takes off in the first comic of his very own, and the last, I would add. Join Fat Dog and his crime-fighting friend, the Whoosh, Siamese moms, and a host of other characters, that appear in this show. The issue.
Oh no!
also
You see
includes
the
a special
Siamese
origin.
moms.
The mom Swanson.
Oh, you're right. We did see, yeah.
Driving their car.
So yeah, that's the premise of this, is a more adult-oriented sort of thing.
I'm so tired. I'm gonna quit the podcast.
Your friend's the one who made us do this.
Yeah, I'm mad at him too.
But so they saw this fat dog, and I guess because of the mask, the appeal of the mask, because that also became a cartoon show. And Duckman, which was another Dark Horse comic that became a cartoon show.
Oh yeah, this sort of is like the Duckman wave of cartoons.
Yeah, only it's not.
This is like the Nadir.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like
this is like the Dead Cat bounce.
It feels like that sort of wave of cartoons with a mix of like Cartoon Network style, like in terms of writing, but it's not. They don't mix.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the development for this began in 1994, and it took until 1998 for it to actually develop into anything. Like, they bought the rights to it in 94.
Well, yeah, they had to remake the dog. They had to replace his arms and legs with 4 pegs to make him slightly more palatable.
And the word is slightly. What I really love about this intro here is that, so they were looking for a partner for the series, and they found Cartoon Network Europe, which was what, as you might imagine, a spin-off of Cartoon Network. And they
presumably some guys in a shack.
Yeah, they decided to partner up with Cartoon Network Europe because they thought the show would appeal to a European audience because of its, and this is quote-unquote verbatim, their unique animation style.
Do they expand on that?
No, because this is the question I have, which is what's unique about... I mean, it's uniquely, like, poor.
Doing a bad job. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is... I don't know what to tell you guys. That's what this is. Oh, here's a great sort of... Some of the productions for Sunbow Entertainment before Fat Dog Mendoza, back in the day. G.I. Joe. Transformers. Gem and the Holograms.
Wow.
My Little Pony, the original.
Wow.
The Tick.
Wow.
The Mask, the animated series. Just some of the ones that they did back in the day. They went out of business, and not shortly after this. I'm not even kidding you.
I wonder why.
Or I don't know if they went out of business exactly then. I think they stopped. I think they became dormant and then went out of business.
Like most businesses do.
Yeah, they officially went out of business in 2009. And yeah, so that's the origins of this show, which is way more interesting than what we're about to talk about. Also, this show appeared on Cartoon Network UK, but never in the United States.
Even Sonic Underground made it to multiple countries.
True. Yeah. I mean, this did go to multiple countries. It was in Australia where it aired on their Nickelodeon.
Oh. Well, thanks, Swanson.
But it never made it to America. It was also in Russia, Spain, Poland, according to this Wikipedia.
Oh.
But yeah. So, I mean, there you go, guys. That's the origins here. Let's get into it.
This is so baffling to us. Now, imagine you live in Russia. Like, you're kind of estranged from the Western civilization.
Fat dog.
Yeah, and the Fat Dog Mendoza comes on.
So the first episode we watched, and this is the first episode of the series, which is wild because it just sort of throws you in there. It's titled Bright Side of the Moon.
Okay, Swanson, you say it throws us in there. How would you introduce... What should the pilot be about?
I don't know. Why is this dog so fat?
Come on.
Why is he hanging out with this kid?
Really? You're asking why the dog is fat? It's because he eats a lot, you stupid motherfucker.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, this big? He's so big he becomes a berserk-like character.
You're right. He sort of does look like he should fight Guts.
If Guts fought this guy, you'd be like, yeah, that tracks.
Like, if he just added 1,000 times more cross-hatching, he would look like a guy from Berserk.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's already got the face structure down.
I mean, in the art, in the actual art from the comic, he looks closer to a Berserk villain. But yeah, so Fat Dog, I guess, hangs out with this kid who is a superhero. And he's having a bum day because it's raining. And Fat Dog's like, how about you go to the moon, bitch? And he's like, that fun. And he's like, yeah, what if we talk to the famous astronaut at the retirement center for astronauts? And so they go on a bus, and they do a scat session on the bus. And they show up there.
Yeah, I guess they really didn't know what to do in the script. They had a minute they had to fill.
They get there, and the rocket ship has taken off, and it lands, and it's some Russian dude, and he's like, I was trying to fly to the moon, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, this Russian guy is, he's trying to build a spaceship to go to the moon, because...
He's old.
He's old. And...
By the way, he's in a retirement home.
Yeah, they're all retired. I think the one touch that I like about this scenario is that they also have the monkey there. They retired the monkey as well.
Yeah.
I think that's funny.
True, but also fuck you for...
There's a long sequence involving a guy and his ladder. And they have to steal the ladder while the guy's busy with the Russian guy. And they take the ladder and they get to the moon with it. Aliens show up and steal their ladder so they can't get back from the moon after they've been there for what seems like a minute. They're like, it's cool to be on the moon. Alright, let's get out of here. And these aliens, which at one point Fat Dog Mendoza calls them leprechauns.
That would have been funny if leprechauns had been on the moon.
That'd be funnier than just aliens. But yeah, these aliens have shoe guns, and they're also trying to... I don't even know what's going on in this fucking show. What are these aliens trying to do?
They're trying to learn dance moves, but their TV was too high.
Oh, that's right. They're trying to win a dance competition, and then the dog sings a shitty song to tell them how to do the Fat Dog Swing.
Yeah, like, how did this pilot get approved with such a shitty song?
How do you watch this and say, yeah, we could put that on the air? This will fill out nicely for our time slot. And I guess the one of the ships is made of jam or whatever, and it ends with the kids eating colorless ice cream.
And also they're kicking the washing machine because they're kicking the washing machine at the start of the episode because they're bored.
Yeah, I think the end they're kicking it because they're excited. I don't know. Briefly, we'll touch on the second episode because it's even more
because I did not finish it.
So the second episode is called Power Play, and it involves superheroes. And
if the previous episode was incoherent, then this one is just gone.
Yeah, basically it becomes an excuse for them to come up with like the dumbest,
more annoying characters.
Yeah, they have a guy whose name is the Incredible Headache, and the entire time he is, how would you describe this guy's voice, Keo?
Give me a headache.
Okay, that's the end of the episode, fellas.
Basically, he has to learn to be a superhero, and that's the whole gist of that, and it takes 22 minutes.
No, but I'm not kidding when I say that that's what they do with this show. They just get somebody to make the first voice that comes to mind.
Sort of like me at the start of the episode.
It just occurred to me that I think one of the problems with this show is that it is actually just one story told over 22 minutes. Most cartoon shows don't do that.
Yeah, usually they're like 11 minutes, and then they're just two episodes.
I'm not saying it would be a better show if each thing was 11 minutes long, but it would be at least like cow and chicken tier.
No, it wouldn't. Fuck off.
Cow and chicken was
nothing
bad.
Nothing is saving the show, Swanson. There's no criticism to be constructed. We must destroy the show.
Yeah, there's really... I think this might actually be the worst thing we've watch on the podcast.
Oh, I don't know about all that, guys.
Well, it's definitely got to be on the list.
And all, but like, we watched a lot of bad stuff.
I know we did, but
there's something special about Fat Dog Mendoza.
There really is something just incredible about it, and just how bad it is.
And it is on YouTube, but you're free to watch it, and I don't recommend it.
Okay, it manages to be, I would say, like the dark triad of being like a bad TV show. Yes. And I would say the three things are, first of all, it's disappointing. You expect maybe something novel and interesting from it. It's got a premise that's just like, oh, you're like, oh, what's this about? But it doesn't live up to whatever expectation you may have set for it, which wasn't even high. It was just like, maybe it would be interesting.
Yeah, regardless of the level, it does not meet it.
The next part of the triad that it meets is that it's boring. Which I think is the worst thing that your show can be, because it is so slow, so meandering, that it has a hard time holding your attention despite trying to ostensibly be funny or interesting with all these random things that happen.
Yeah, I think that's part of what I was getting at with that. If you made it 11 minutes, maybe that meandering becomes a little better, which makes the show not complete bottom tier animated
then
programming.
That gets to the third corner.
Yeah, third corner. Tell us.
The show is unpleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deeply unpleasant, and
like, I don't know how you can be unpleasant. It's interesting how it can be unpleasant and boring at the same time.
It's sort of like it loops back around in terms of like the unpleasantness feedback, because there are a lot of animated shows that purposely try to be unpleasant, like the aforementioned Cow and Chicken, Ren and Stimpy type of deal. But this like loops back around to where it...
And I'm gonna add a fourth corner to this triad.
Oh, the dark square.
And it's still a triangle. You can do that with something that's really bad. The fourth thing that it is it's substanceless. There's nothing to...
Yes.
Nothing to sink your teeth into here. Nothing.
This is like if you took Cow and Chicken and all those 90s cartoons, that sort of wave, and sort of sandpapered off the edges.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. Well, yeah, because this was made in like the 2000s, or in 2000, which by that point, you did have to sandpaper the edges because it wasn't popular anymore to do that.
Because, I mean, there's even the worst show you could think of, like, most of the time you can at least watch it and then like let's just say, for example, we're in some alternate reality where these terrible TV shows are being studied academically, and you're trying to find like themes and messages for the show.
Just the professor talking at length about the island.
I mean, you could say something about Ed, Edd and Eddy.
Yeah, you could. That's what I'm saying. Like, yes. You could take something out of it. There's some kind of possibly a critique of society.
There's like a meditation on the human condition, at least.
Wait, are we saying Ed, Edd and Eddy is a bad show?
No, I'm saying that it has themes, at least.
Yeah,
it has something to it.
Right. But this show...
It's like a series of events.
Yeah, I struggle to find anything. It really is just a fever dream, which... honestly, is one of the most unpleasant things you could experience.
It's true. That's why...
outside of just being, like, in horrible pain.
People generally avoid fevers.
And they try to sleep them off.
Yeah. And, like...
like, not be half awake, half asleep.
Right. Yeah, you try to be fully...
web of delirium.
Yeah, you try to be fully out of consciousness when in a fever state.
And honestly, even having a fever dream, there's a good chance you'll have an experience that's meaningful to you.
you might get to talk to God.
Yeah, that's true.
You might get to talk to God and like curse him and like...
Dog Mendoza is probably the opposite direction.
Oh, if I talk to God after seeing this show, yeah, we're chatting. We're having a chat.
Oh, if I see God, on site for this. He's going to catch these hands.
So, like, in the future, maybe you can talk to God. Watching this show, it's like you get to talk to a towel that's on the floor and somewhat resembles a human face.
Listen, the reason God isn't answering prayers anymore is because there's a line of people waiting to kick his ass because of this show.
Yeah, true.
And he's got...
There's so many prayers being like prayed every day to get rid of this show that they're blocking out every other prayer.
What would you do if you got to the afterlife and God was wearing a Fat Dog Mendoza t-shirt?
Yeah, I think I've already answered that. Referred to it 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, I don't think I would do anything, but I would understand that I'm going to hell.
Yeah, true. Anyway, I think this.
Or maybe I'm already in hell.
This is a tune out, right, for the show.
Yes. Keo's not even doing the irony thing this week.
No irony to be had here. This is a tune out.
Yeah, just watch Zeta Gundam instead. That's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Some guy uploaded it with the original OP.
The whole thing?
Yeah. All 50 episodes. Or 49. Right.
Yeah, go watch that. Remember. If you want to have a good time.
What are we watching?
If you want to have a pure time.
If you want to have a pure time, and because who doesn't have a noble mind.
We know everyone listening has a noble mind.
Yeah, everyone who is listening has a noble mind. You know who didn't have a noble mind? The creators of this show.
Do you think they're sorry for what they did?
I hope so. But no, probably not.
If not, I will make them.
And I can't wait for people to respond to the podcast saying, like, the first 2 episodes were rough, but episode 3 was a banger.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes, they were pretty rough, but the next...
You gotta get to the second half of the Hunter examination arc, guys, to really appreciate
the rest of the 24 the rest of the 26 episode run, guys, is really good. You should watch some more of it. It's like, no.
Yeah, once...
I don't care how good it is. Potentially. I'm not watching any more of this. I'll watch Harley Quinn before I watch more of this.
I'll serve crack before I serve Fat Dog Mendoza.
Anyway, that's a tune out for Fat Dog Mendoza. And that'll about do it for this week's episode of the show. Of course, this was a Buy Me a Coffee episode. If you want to get us a coffee, all you got to do is go over to buymeacoffee.com/TVTuners. A single coffee gives you a single episode for us to discuss whatever you desire. No more of this show. I think I'm just going to put it on the blacklist. No more. Even if you think that you could buy us some more, it's immediately vetoed, and we're taking your money anyway.
I'm laughing at you.
We just keep the money.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, we're just going to keep your money and not watch more of this show.
We watch something else that has a dog in it, maybe?
Yes. We'll watch something else.
We'll watch, like, terriers.
Yeah, that's a good dog show. If you want to give us more money for free, just put Fat Dog Mendoza in the title. Otherwise, just put whatever you want us to watch. Next time on our Buy Me a Coffee excursion, we're watching a movie that...
We're watching a heater.
Watching a heater? Yeah, we're watching a movie that
we're watching a heater.
Watching a movie that I just heard of when this got picked for us. It's called Red Heat. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jim Belushi. What more could you ask for? That's next week. Till then, keep watching.
Fat dog.
It's over.
I found him.
Hey folks, TV Tuners Fact of the Week. Did you know that unfortunately Stairmaster makes an appearance in episode 14 of Big Dog Mendoza, where he is loud and obnoxious, and he has a bit that goes on for 10 straight minutes?
I sing for 2 of them.
Good evening, fellow Americans. Tonight I come before you to discuss the state of our union. We have faced many challenges in the past year, and I am proud to say that we have come out of it stronger than ever. I have sponsored legislation that has helped to create jobs, increase access to health care, and strengthen our economy. But I want to take a moment to talk about something else, something that brings us all together, something that brings us joy, something that is so sweet and creamy it can make us forget our troubles. I'm talking about ice cream cones. I can still remember the first time I had an ice cream cone. I was a young boy, and it was a hot summer day. I remember the feeling of the cold, creamy ice cream melting in my mouth. I remember the feeling of the cone in my hands and the way it crumbled as I bit into it. But I don't just remember the taste. I remember the feeling of pure pleasure, the feeling of being alive, the feeling of being in the moment. And I can still feel it today. I can still feel the pleasure of eating an ice cream cone. I can still feel the cold, creamy ice cream melting in my mouth. I can still feel the cone in my hands and the way it crumbles as I bite into it. And I can still feel the pleasure of it all, the pleasure of the moment, the pleasure of being alive, the pleasure of being in the moment. 3 p.m. And I can still feel the pleasure of it all, the pleasure of the moment, the pleasure of being alive, the pleasure of being in the moment, the pleasure of fucking an ice cream cone. Yes, that's right. I said it. I said fucking an ice cream cone. I said it because it's true. I said it because it's real. I said it because it's fucking amazing. I can still feel the pleasure of it all. The pleasure of the moment, the pleasure of being alive, the pleasure of being in the moment, the pleasure of fucking an ice cream cone. And I can still feel the pleasure of it all. The pleasure of the moment, the pleasure of being alive, the pleasure of being in the moment, the pleasure of fucking an ice cream cone. The pleasure of fucking it hard, the pleasure of fucking it fast, the pleasure of fucking it slow, the pleasure of fucking it with passion, the pleasure of fucking it with intensity, the pleasure of fucking it with pleasure. And that's why I'm here tonight, to talk about the state of our union, to talk about the challenges we face, to talk about the progress we have made, but also to talk about the pleasure of fucking an ice cream cone. Thank you, and God bless America.